Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Welcome back to the K-Files. We are getting in the short rows of the year, but we will have a K-Files next week. I've had a couple of you ask, are you going to do it next week? Yes, we will have a K-Files next week, but the Lindell will be joining me right after Lieutenant Seifman. Lieutenant Seifman's always so diligent in coming on his week, which is the third week in the month. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Who are we talking about today?
We're talking about Alcindor Wardrick today.
Okay.
Alcindor was born in 1989.
Okay.
And in March of 2017, he was found shot in his home at 620 Short Street. And we were called, we responded, investigated, and that Short Street is between Branch and Koki.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that kind of gives you,
yep,
I love your signs. We always talk about that.
It's a little one-block road with just basically one or two houses on it.
Okay.
And at about 1 o'clock in the morning, like I said, we received the call, responded. He was wheelchair bound.
Wow.
And somebody entered the home and shot and killed him.
Wow.
And
that's terrible.
Leads, we worked leads. We tracked down everything we could, and kind of hit a brick wall.
Was it robbery, or what is the motive?
Don't know.
You don't know the motive?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, a guy in a wheelchair, I mean, it's not much he could be up to, is it?
Well, he wasn't an angel, like most victims that we talk about on the show. They had their pasts, and their past could have caught up to him. So. Right,
and that does happen so many times. Okay, so Branch Street and Short Street is the location, but it's on Short Street.
Yeah.
Put the picture of the house back up one more time, Brittany. There we go. There's the house. Thank you. So, and there's the front of the house.
View of the house.
Yeah, front view of the house. So, tell us again. Repeat what happened in case somebody just turned it on.
We got called at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and a gentleman had gone to the house and found him inside deceased. We responded, worked the crime scene, tracked down leads.
So somebody heard shots?
No, I think he had the person there had been there, left, and come back. And so it wasn't a report from a neighbor or anything like that.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Okay, if anybody knows anything, you know the drill. If you know anything, please call. First of all, give them your tip line.
We have Crime Stoppers, which is 977-1111. And then we have, you can call straight through to CID, 972-1450. And then we have Text a Tip, the text RMPOL, and then start your message to 274-637. It spells out the word crimes. And again, your tip is 100% anonymous. We've talked about that before. There's no way we can track down the person. We can communicate back and forth,
right,
if they choose to, but it's not revealed who they are to us.
exactly. Okay, or you can call the 406-6736 as always if you have a tip. Remember, there is a $15,000 pot right now that we would pay up to. Now, it's up to $15,000. I want to be careful to say that. It kind of depends on how, and I don't want to say the word valuable because every tip is valuable.
Right.
Every tip is valuable. And it doesn't matter how small. Something insignificant to you or a tip that you think is very insignificant may be the tip they're looking for.
We've talked about that before. Something that seems
Yeah.
just not useful at all
Yeah.
is the one key
Yeah.
to the actual case.
A car in the area close to the time or anything like that. A passerby walking by, anything like that, you could be the tip they need. So please don't hesitate. Please give us a call on this number. It is completely anonymous. I will not know. Linda will not know. None of us will know here. You will give your information to the hotline or to the text to tip or
to the
Crime Stoppers. And so it is completely anonymous. So please do not hesitate because we are trying to give closure to families is what we're trying to do. And everybody has loved ones that are out there wondering, who did this to my loved one? So please, please, if you know anything, we would appreciate your help. We really would. Well, Lieutenant, thank you for bringing that this morning.
Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely, and we'll see you
next year.
Next year. It will be next year.
See you next year.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you have a great day, and we'll be right back.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay.
See you later, Lieutenant.
Okay. You gonna talk?
Oh, well.
See, he don't know how to do it anymore.
I'm
He's lost
rusty.
his touch.
I'm rusty.
I'm waiting for you.
What? Oh, you want me to start?
Well, welcome to the show.
Well, I'm used to kicking off the show, and we got to do all the introductions and all that stuff.
I know.
All right.
But we're glad to have you back,
Right. I'm glad to
Know
be
the
here.
drill.
All right. So we are going to talk today, as advertised, about Tammy Grady. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tammy, November 24th, 2019.
This
so
is the Wilson case.
Yeah, 2 years ago. She was reported missing in Wilson. Tammy was last seen getting into a taxi at the Heart of Wilson Hotel.
Yes, remember that? We've talked about this many times.
Yeah, in downtown. The cabbie admitted to picking her up, but he claimed that he didn't remember where he dropped her off at, right? Which was always highly suspicious to me, and yeah, very unbelievable. Well, I went by the cab company, the ironically named Safety Cab, and they said that they didn't have any records of that transaction, right? They don't keep any records apparently of who's picking up who and who's dropping them off where, which I found questionable as well. I wanted to, hey Brittany, we got the Safety Cab. There we go. That's in downtown Wilson as well. I went by there, talked to those nice folks. They didn't have any records for me. I assume they didn't have any records for detectives when they went there before me. I wanted to talk to the cabbie, was trying to track down the cabbie to talk to him, but that cab driver is dead now. Right?
Yeah, he deceased not too long ago.
Yeah, he's not telling stories?
No, he's not going to be telling any now.
All right. So the family believed that Tammy's cousin, 33-year-old Christopher Alex Grady of Bailey, had something to do with Tammy's disappearance.
Wow.
They believed
Your own cousin.
Right. They believed that he put Tammy in contact with the people who eventually killed her. Right. And there's been some recent information that maybe he was involved in the cleanup and whatnot. Right.
My
But
goodness.
he's not telling any stories either.
So they were all at a party. She went to the party,
Right.
and
Well, I mean, I want to get to that, exactly what happened that day.
I'm still doing the same thing I always do.
That's
I'm
right.
just-
Ahead of it. That's fine.
I'm ahead of you.
No, that's fine. The cousin's not talking now because he was in the Wilson County Jail on some drug charges, and they found him hanged in his cell.
Right.
Right. So he's not going to be telling anything about it. Okay. So, like you said, the rumors is the talk is that Tammy she was staying at a friend's house. She went down to the Heart of Wilson Hotel for the night. The next morning or whatever time that was, she gets in the cab. The cabbie takes her to a house down on the Wayne County line. And there she was supposed to dance and, do... Entertain, right. And things got out of hand. And, exactly what transpired at that moment, only about 5 or 6 people know for sure, and that list is dwindling, right? I mean,
But that's
as time
important
goes
what you
by.
just said.
Right,
5 or 6 people. So where are you?
right.
Where are you? Why
Well,
aren't you calling the number?
we're gonna talk about some of them here in a minute. So the Tammy's there, things get out of hand, Tammy's dead, right?
Right.
Tammy's sister starts asking, where's my sister at?
Who has been on this program?
She has, and we've got something with her coming up in a second, and she has, there she is standing in front of Heart of Wilson. She filmed a video for this show last year.
Yes.
And her name's Christy Ruffin. She's asking, hey, where's my sister at? She stayed in contact with Tammy almost every day.
I remember
Right
saying
now,
that.
Tammy was kind of in the life. She was doing things, and Christy, she's got a family and everything, but they stayed in touch. No more than a day or two went by without them communicating either over the phone or on Facebook. That's how Tammy liked to communicate most, on Facebook. And also, is the most worrisome part of the whole thing is that she hasn't been on Facebook since the day that she disappeared. Right? Her ATM card has there's money in her bank that hasn't been touched since the day she disappeared. So for anybody that says, oh, well, she just ran off, right? No, she didn't.
Right.
Because people don't leave money in their bank account.
No, they don't.
I remember working on a case where a guy disappeared on payday. And I mean, once I found out it was payday, my first question was, well, did he get his paycheck or not? And they were like, well, no.
Oh, yeah.
Well, exactly. You don't decide to skip town on payday and not get your paycheck. Right. So something terrible happened to Tammy. Right. And I mean, at this point, 2 years in her disappearance, I mean, what we're really talking about is her death. And it's just a matter of what happened to her after that night. Because I mean, she's been gone. A lot of what I do, it just boils down to common sense.
Right.
Right. She's been gone for 2 years.
Right.
In every sense of the word. So Christy has tried. She has kept this thing alive. She does vigils. She's had probably more vigils for her sister than some people have had for people that have been missing for 30 or 40 years.
Right.
Some people are so estranged from their family members that they don't even know that the family member's missing. You know, when we've talked at length about the Seven Bridges Road cases and all the women, the poor women that ended up out there. Some of those, they found bodies of women that had never been reported missing. Because the families just didn't know. They had become so far apart that they just didn't know.
Right.
Well, that's not the case with Tammy and Christy.
No, because they talked every day.
Right. So Christy's been really trying to find out, you know, what happened to my sister, where she's at. So she's going, talking to the police. She's been on the show more than once. I think 3 times now she's been on the show. She went down to this location down in on the Wayne County line, trying to find out what's going on.
What do you mean on the Wayne County line?
The house where Tammy went is in the
it
Wilson.
is.
Yeah,
I didn't never know that.
It's down near Kinley.
Oh,
So it's really on the Wilson, Wayne, Johnston County line.
Johnston County line, yeah.
So it's like right in that area.
Okay.
So and the house is actually in Wayne County, because the Wayne County Sheriff's Office has become involved. We'll talk about that in a minute too. So what I wanted to do today is, like I said on Facebook, we're going to talk about the suspects in that case, because it is the worst kept secret in Wilson who made Tammy disappear, right? And so we're going to talk about them, but I wanted folks to understand Christy's situation, you know, where,
sure.
I mean, because Tammy disappeared right before Thanksgiving. So every
holiday, here we go.
Yeah, you know, and it's like that with my brother who died right before Christmas, and it's like every Christmas is just, you know, it's you know, here we go again, and we're only 3 or 4 years in on that. So I mean, Christy's going through the same thing, that every Thanksgiving that comes up, that's Tammy disappeared like a couple of days before Thanksgiving.
Same thing with the case in Bailey, Middlesex.
Exactly. You had to, with Travis Lynch.
Travis Lynch.
Yeah, he disappeared on Christmas Eve. So, you know, there you've got a time that should be celebrated. Yeah. It should be happy.
Absolutely.
But for these families, it's not, because it's just a reminder every time of what they got to go through. So we've got I sat down with Chrissy yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I sat down with her and had a video interview with her yesterday, and I want to show that to people now, and then when we come back from commercial, we're going to talk about the suspects in this case.
Sounds good. Okay, we'll be right back with you right after this with more of the K-Files.
So we've all heard the rumors about what happened to my sister Tammy. It's the worst kept secret. Everyone talks about it. But my question now is not what happened to her, but where is she? I want to bring her home, and that's the only thing that could bring closure to my family. Today's been 752 days since the last time that anyone's seen her. 752 days I've been begging for help. 752 days after listening to my mom cry and wonder and beg where she is. I promised my mom I was going to bring my sister home, and I'm not going to break my promise to my mama. My sister is going to come home, and while everyone is so comfortable with talking about what happened to her, someone needs to be comfortable with telling me where she is, because that's all I'm asking for at this point. I have private investigators you could call and speak to. There is Team Cold Case Hotline. There is Crime Stoppers in Wilson. We have homicide detectives. There's so many ways you can reach out, as well as to myself on Facebook. But someone knows where my sister is, and I'm just asking you to please come forth at this time. It's been going on way too long now. This is not fair to her.
This is the third Thanksgiving that you've been without Tammy, right? What is that like for your family?
It's hard. It's really hard. This time of the year is just the hardest of all the rest of the year. Every day is hard because every day is the exact same, but the holidays, we have new family members, new babies in the family, and we're trying to carry on and just still trying to continue the holiday tradition and stuff, but it's just, you just feel it incomplete. It's just not the same.
When I drove into town, I come by the Heart of Wilson Hotel. I imagine you probably pass that way a lot. You live here in Wilson.
I do.
I mean, what are your feelings every time that you see that?
Oh, my heart drops to my stomach. I could see her. I could see her walking, just in my mind. I do like to ride past there, look sometimes. I miss my sister a lot.
You're hoping that you're going to see her, but you know that you're not, right?
Anything that makes me feel close to her, I like to do it.
Y'all were really close.
And just knowing that, that was one of the last places that she had laid her head that night, before she went missing. That's why I say it makes me feel close to her, because I knew she was there, But yes, that was my best friend. She was my only sister, but she was my best friend, and I miss her a lot.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, welcome back to the K-Files. Interesting case today, talking about Tammy Grady, Wilson case. So,
I want to,
we'll let Lindell continue.
I wanna-
the video.
Right.
Good,
I mean, you can tell Christy's in a lot of pain over this, right?
of course.
I want to tell a story about something that happened in Jacksonville, North Carolina in 1999, okay? I think I've mentioned this on the show before. A young man named Bullet Howard was 20 years old. He worked for a drug dealer named Jonathan Wilson. Who, me?
No, she
Who?
can hear you. She can hear you.
Okay. You dropped your mic, I think, Sandra. Technical difficulties here.
Yes. Anyway, you can continue.
Okay, all right. So, Bullet Howard was 20 years old. He worked for a drug dealer named Jonathan Wilson. And Bullet was in love with a 16-year-old girl that he knew named Shannon Klieg. They wanted to run away together. So Bullet stole a couple $1,000 from Jonathan Wilson, his drug dealing boss, to skip town with. Well, they didn't leave fast enough, right? And Shannon's mother got concerned because she didn't hear from her and they didn't know what was going on. So she went over to Howard's mobile home a bunch of times and no one answered. So she kept going over there. For a week, she went over there every day knocking on the door, no one would answer. So she asked some deputies to meet her there. And when they got there, they told the woman that they couldn't do nothing because there's no apparent crime.
Right.
So she picks up a rock and throws it through the window. Right? So they're kind of mad at her, but when the odor escaped the broken window, they pretty soon they had forgotten all about her.
Right.
And for a week, for more than a week, Bullet and Shannon had been inside dead. And so it was Halloween night when they finally found him in 1999, and deputies discovered their bodies. Shannon had been stabbed 16 times in the chest, and Bullitt had been shot, right? So detectives figured out that Shannon was tortured as punishment for Bullitt stealing the money, and then he was shot. When she is finally dead, then he was shot.
Right.
All right, so Wilson was already under investigation for running a fashion store in downtown Kinston that was nothing but a front for his drug operation, right? So the two investigations rolled into one, the murder investigation, the drug investigation. And prosecutors got a conviction on Wilson for running continued criminal enterprise. It was the first conviction of its kind in the state.
Right.
That was in 2004, right? So 5 years after these two were killed, they finally got Jonathan Wilson for something.
Sure.
So he went to prison for 9 years for that, right? Okay, so they found out during the process of all this that Wilson was an illegal alien from Jamaica, right? So they knew that as soon as he got out of prison, he was going to be gone to Jamaica, and that's going to be the end of it, right? So the clock's ticking on trying to do something about the murders. But they figured they got 9 years, what's the rush, right? So I wrote about this so much in the Jacksonville Daily News down there that the DA wrote a letter to the editor defending his decision on why they didn't prosecute. And he was saying that if they prosecuted, then if they didn't do it right, then he would, because of double jeopardy, they could never try again.
Right.
Well, I mean, DAs are political entities, and they don't like to lose cases. So, but sometimes you just got to swing, right? You know, and they can't all be grand slams. Okay, so Wilson got out, I think, in about 2011, and he went to Jamaica, and he's probably sipping pina coladas on the beach right now, right? So, why go through the trouble of telling this whole story, right? It is because in Tammy Grady's case, right, the rumors that she goes to a house in the Kinley area, she's dropped off there, right, to entertain, and she ends up dead. Well, just like in the Jonathan Wilson case, this murder investigation has joined in or kicked off a drug investigation of that house, right?
Right.
And the story always was that Tammy was brought to a rich man's house and then was subsequently murdered there, right? Well,
but why would they want to get rid of her?
Well, I mean, because when you're running a huge drug operation out of your house, and someone dies there, you know, you don't want all that attention. So her life was so valueless to them that they decided just to get rid of her. And the stories that I've heard from many different people, including a person who was in jail with Tammy's cousin prior to him getting hanged, is that they dumped her body in a wooded area near the house. But then when Christy began asking all of her questions, they got nervous, so they went back and got the body, and
wow.
I'm trying to be as they dismembered it and then disposed of it elsewhere, right? So that's what and that's probably why her cousin checked out, because that, after a while that would begin to weigh on you, I would think. All right, so just like in the Jonathan Wilson case, they've got these drug investigations going on, right?
Right.
Well, the owner of that house, who is undoubtedly the main suspect in Tammy's disappearance, the police know it. They won't confirm it officially, but I mean, I've talked to him off the record, and of course, Christy and her family have talked to him. Everybody's talked to him. It is the worst kept secret in Wilson who this suspect is.
Wow.
So he was arrested in November of last year on multiple drug counts.
Right.
Multiple firearms counts.
Okay.
Then he was arrested a few months ago again on charges, several gun charges and drug charges. Like you asked me why they got rid of her when she died. The house had so many guns in it. This guy was charged with so many gun possessions. I mean, they were hiding. I mean, it was like open a book and there's a gun in it, right?
Yeah.
They hid guns everywhere in the house. I mean, there were guns everywhere. So this man is bonded out of jail now. He's waiting. He's got so many counts you couldn't possibly count them all. I mean, I quit counting after a while. He's got so many counts pending, waiting for court. He's bonded out, but his drug money, you know, the rumor of the rich man, his drug money's all gone now, and you know, he's lost a lot of that power that he seemed to have had at the time, right? So the reason I told you the Jonathan Wilson story is that when this man is sent to prison, which he undoubtedly will be, given all of those charges and all that, I hope that prosecutors don't repeat the same mistake that they did in the Jonathan Wilson case and think they've got all the time in the world to build a case, because they don't.
No.
Right. All right. So the gentleman that we've been talking about is here's Bob Chapman.
Oh, wow.
He owned the house that.
Oh my goodness.
He's 79 years old. He owned the house that Tammy died in. He is. He has a long criminal record. He's now charged by the Wayne County Sheriff's Office with trafficking methamphetamines, multiple counts of possession of a firearm by a felon, and some other drug-related charges like maintaining a dwelling for drugs. He's got enough gun charges to go federal. Every one of those is 3 counts, because you know on a warrant you can only have 3 counts on a warrant.
Right.
So every one of those is 3 counts of
Good
something.
Lord.
I mean, I give up. Yeah, I give up counting. I mean, this guy is definitely.
If he's 79 years old, you're right.
Yeah,
they don't have long.
And there's 2 other guys besides Tammy's cousin who's dead now. There's 2 other guys that were young guys that were there and probably involved. To what extent, you know, and I don't know. I'm hoping that that somebody, this small circle of people, somebody realizes that it's in their best interest to you know, there's, you know, I've known a lot of cops over the years. I mean, that, you know, there's only one, in a situation like this, there's only one get out of jail free card.
Right.
You know, so I don't know, I'm not saying they'll get out of jail, but I mean, somebody's going to get 5 years and someone's going to get life.
Right.
You know, so somebody needs to start talking.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, just to review, Bob Chapman is the main suspect.
Put his picture up again, Brittany.
He is the main suspect.
Robert Wayne Chapman.
He is the main suspect. Now, you know, I'm not saying for anybody out there that's wondering about this man's rights, I'm not saying that he killed Tammy.
Right.
Right? That's for a court to decide.
That's right.
But what I am saying is that he is the main suspect in the case.
Right, exactly.
There's no doubt about that. He is the main suspect in that case. So, you know, what's funny about main suspects is sometimes police name those main suspects, sometimes they don't.
Right.
You know, for whatever reason. But I think it's time that the worst kept secret in Wilson
I think so.
come to light.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
And I think that it's time for somebody to speak up and give Tammy Grady's family some peace. You know,
yes.
You mentioned the Travis Lynch case earlier, and Travis is on my mind a lot. His family's, you know, when I was writing about that last year, I spoke to his mother almost every day.
Right.
And I mean, I hate to say this, but it got so painful for me that sometimes I couldn't answer her call, because I'm shopping, or I'm doing family stuff, and she calls, and I know that she's hurting.
Yeah.
And she's just looking to relieve some of that pain, but you know, Major Strickland talked to her almost every day
Yeah.
for years now, years and years and years. And I just don't want that for Tammy's family.
Right.
I don't want this case to go on, and they don't have Tammy, and they don't have any resolution to the case, and they don't know for sure what happened.
Right.
You know, and Christy, I can't remember whether she said it on the video or not, but when we were talking yesterday, she said that just like the worst thing is that because it is the worst kept secret in Wilson, and everybody knows about it, especially in her family and her circles. You know, remember her cousin is one of the suspects. Her dead cousin's one of the suspects. Christy was saying how cavalier everybody is in talking about her sister.
Right.
You know, coming to her, telling her that they heard that she was dismembered and all these other things, and everybody just so, you know, just talks so easy about the death of her sister, like it's something on TV, when it's not. I mean, it's, you know, it's her sister.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I mean, I don't know. Mr. Chapman, he's got a long criminal record, and I mean, there's enough firearms charges that if they wanted to, if they do it right, I mean, he could very easily go to federal prison for many years.
Well,
And
you know, I don't know that they'll ever pin him. I mean, how do you, unless he gets in prison and he confesses, but how will they ever? They'll never be able to pin that on him.
Well, I mean, there's some people there that can talk.
Yeah,
You know,
unless somebody comes
there's some
forward.
people
That's what
there
I was
that can
going to say.
talk. And we need to know where Tammy's body is.
Absolutely.
I received a call, and I don't know how. I mean, all the information in what this person told me was pretty good. So you know, I passed it on to law enforcement like I always do. But so I don't know the veracity of it. But they were saying that Tammy was taken to a place in Franklin County and disposed of the second disposal. And so it's, you know, this is a case that stretches from downtown Wilson, the heart of Wilson, to Wayne County, to part of Johnston, a little bit, you know, the edge of Johnston County, and then all the way back up to Franklin County. All for someone trying to protect themselves in a death that, I mean, I don't know. Tammy could have been out and out murdered, but the general consensus from people who know people is that maybe she overdosed or whatever. But you know, it's like the Denise Williams case that I've talked about on this show before. Denise sold drugs part-time for her boyfriend.
Right.
And then she overdosed one night, and rather than taking her to the hospital where she could have received medical treatment, they dumped her in the swamp.
Yeah, and it's like you said earlier, so many times they don't want to bring attention to them, their house, their whatever. They don't want to bring attention.
More important.
So it's easier to just dispose of the body.
Sure. And the sad thing in Denise's case is that when they finally fished her out of the swamp and did an autopsy on her, she had water in her lungs, which means she was alive. Wow. I'm hoping, you hope the best for humanity even in the worst situations.
Right.
I'm hoping that they thought she was dead. But either way, they killed her by throwing her in the water. You know, so it's the situation here with Tammy. I mean, what if all this was unnecessary and they could have just simply called the ambulance?
Exactly.
You know, but no, rather than doing that, they dismember her and dispose of her across counties. You know,
just sad.
Of course, now they could have beat her to death too. I don't know. The 3 or 4 people that know, right? Some of them are dead.
Right.
Some of them are going away for a long time.
Right.
I just hope that the conscience that bothered Christopher enough that he supposedly hung himself will bother these other guys enough
absolutely.
that they will call the tip. What's the tip line?
The tip line number 406-6736. Folks, it's up to $15,000. I mean, honestly, if you need some Christmas money, this is an easy way to get it if you know the answer, because we're not going to ask who you are. It is completely anonymous. So please call.
And the information goes straight to law enforcement.
It does. It goes straight to law enforcement.
It's not
We will
something,
not know.
I heard you say that earlier when Lieutenant was on here. It's not something that we know. It's not something that's going to be reported. It goes
That's
to
right.
law enforcement, and then from there. So, you know, even folks, if you know where Tammy's at, you know, the family would that's half of the
Absolutely.
problem right there. If they could at least get Tammy
Bring
back.
closure to that family. Please help bring closure to that family.
Right.
So, well, Lindell, I enjoyed it today. I'm glad you were back. Thank
Yes.
you. You're teaching now, and you're up in Chowan County?
Yeah,
Is it
I don't know.
Chowan?
It's Roanoke, Chowan, so it's up there.
Okay.
So, you know, Ahoskie, if people know.
Ahoskie.
Ahoskie, if you know where that's at. And then I'll be starting at Wesleyan in January.
That's
so.
great. That's
Busy
great.
man.
Getting you closer to home now.
Yes,
So
absolutely. So
anyway.
Nash Community College will be hiring me pretty soon, I hope.
that's good.
So
Very good. So
who
we'll
knows? I
see you back.
willed the Wesleyan job into existence. So maybe if I say
That's
that,
right. Just say
maybe
it.
if I say if Nash is going to hire me, maybe they will.
Maybe so. So anyway, enjoyed being with you, and we'll have you back whenever you get a
Yes.
break at school. We'll have you back again. So enjoyed it, and make it a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.